The rain had just started to fall when Mia stepped onto the late-night bus, one of those older city buses where every sound echoed, every light flickered, and every passenger kept their thoughts tucked behind tired eyes. She hesitated at the front for a moment, brushing damp hair away from her forehead, scanning the rows for an empty seat. Most seats were taken by people pretending not to look up. But one row, near the back, had only a single figure, a man, somewhere in his early 30s, broad-shouldered, wearing a worn gray coat. A takeout container sat on his lap, closed but steaming slightly, as if freshly packed. Mia stepped closer, clearing her throat. "Can I sit here?" she asked, half whispering, not wanting to disturb anyone. The man looked up slowly. His eyes were tired but alert, the kind that had seen too many long nights. He nodded toward the empty space beside him but added, almost casually, "Only if you eat too." Mia blinked, unsure if she'd heard correctly. I'm sorry." He tapped the takeout box with his thumb. "I can't finish this. And I don't like eating in front of someone who's sitting right next to me. Feels rude." He shrugged. "So if you're sitting, you're sharing." The bus bumped forward, and Mia looked at him, really looked. He didn't seem threatening, just oddly sincere. She let out a small, nervous laugh. "I mean, sure, if you insist." He shifted the container toward her as she sat down. "I'm Daniel," he said. "Mia." He nodded once, as if locking the name into place. "Rough night?" She exhaled through her nose, leaning back. "Something like that." The lid opened with a soft crack, releasing the smell of warm noodles and garlic. Mia hadn't realized how hungry she was until that moment. She took a bite, just one, to keep things polite. But the warmth hit her chest like a memory of safety. Daniel smiled slightly. "See? Not so bad." For a few minutes, the bus rocked them gently through the storm, streetlights streaking across the windows. It was quiet, comfortably so, until Mia noticed Daniel stiffen. His expression changed, eyes focusing on something across the aisle. "Don't look," he murmured. Which, of course, made her glance up in reflex. A man 2 rows ahead, hood up, face hard, turned to watch them. His stare was sharp, assessing, like he was measuring the situation. Mia quickly looked back at Daniel. "Do you know him?" she whispered. Daniel inhaled. "Not personally." His voice dropped lower. "But I know the type. Been following the bus since the station." Fear pricked her spine. "Following you?" Daniel nodded faintly. "But, why?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper, creased, worn from being handled too many times. He slipped it into Mia's hand under the edge of the shared container. "Hold on to that," he said quietly. "If something happens." Her heart thudded. "What's going on?" He kept his eyes forward. "I didn't want to pull anyone into this. Just needed a place to sit and food to calm down." His jaw tightened. "But the moment you asked to sit, he started paying attention. So now I've got to keep you safe too." Mia swallowed, gripping the folded paper like it was a lifeline. The bus doors opened at a stop, letting in a burst of cold air. The man in the hood stood, moving slowly toward the back. His steps were deliberate. Intentional. Daniel leaned slightly toward Mia. "When he gets close, stand behind me. Don't talk." Mia's breath shook as the hooded man closed the distance, stopping beside their row. "You," he said to Daniel. "We're not done." Daniel didn't look up. "I said I'm out." "Leave it there." A tense silence stretched, thick as the humid air. The hooded man chuckled darkly. "You think walking away is enough? You think you can just..." Before he finished, the bus lurched at a sudden turn, forcing him to grab the seat for balance. Daniel stood up quickly, using the moment. He stepped between Mia and the man, blocking him entirely. His voice was low, firm, dangerously calm. I told you. I'm done. And you're not going to involve anyone else. So get off this bus at the next stop. The man's jaw clenched. His eyes flicked toward Mia, just for a second, but Daniel shifted, completely obstructing his view. A long, cold beat passed. Then the hooded man spat onto the floor, muttering, "This isn't over," before stepping off at the next stop, disappearing into the sheet of rain outside. The bus doors shut with a hiss, and silence reclaimed the aisle. Mia exhaled shakily. "Daniel, what was that?" He slowly sat down again, rubbing a hand over his face. "Someone I used to run with. Bad choices. I've been trying to walk away for months." He motioned to the folded paper she still held. "That's proof I'm turning everything in tomorrow. Real evidence. Enough to put them away." She hesitated, then carefully opened the paper. It wasn't just a page, it was a whole sequence of dates, transactions, names. Dangerous names. "This is huge," she whispered. He nodded. "And now you know why he followed me." The bus rolled on, quieter now, as if the vehicle itself knew the tension had not fully settled. But next to her, Daniel slumped slightly, not in defeat, but in relief. "Why share your food with a stranger during all this?" Mia asked softly. Daniel looked at her with a tired, wry smile. "Because sharing food feels normal. And I needed something normal tonight." She let out a small breath of almost laughter, the kind that comes after the storm breaks but before the sky clears. When the bus finally neared her stop, Mia stood and handed back the container. "Be safe tomorrow," she said. "And, thank you." He nodded once. "Thank you for sitting." She stepped off into the rain, the doors closing behind her. As the bus pulled away, she realized she still had the smallest stain of sauce on her hand, a reminder that sometimes, even in the middle of danger, two strangers sharing a meal could change the course of the night. And somewhere behind the fogged window, Daniel watched her go, still clutching the evidence that might finally free him from his past.